Right, so I don't normally make movie reviews, but I watched this the other day, and this channel is mainly about taking down propaganda, speaking out against propaganda and lies. Um, Obviously, all this brainwashing, indoctrination, it leads to a massive cultural decline, and this can be shown in movies. Like you've probably seen movies from history. I watched quite a few the other day from like 1970s, 80s. They actually seem to care about the films. Even until the early 2000s, they had well written stories, very good acting, and they never felt rushed, and they always seemed to be going somewhere with the film. But now films have just declined drastically. The quality is terrible. They always feel rushed, and it's kind of like we'll quickly do this and we'll get on to the next one. We'll take people's money and then we'll take people's money and then we'll quickly move on. And it's like when you see series like Netflix when they're absolutely boring. Like they'll go for like it's maybe 7 or 8 seasons, hour-long episodes, and a lot of them are just filler. And there's nothing that really furthers the plot. It's just wasting time. And this is the feeling I get with a lot of series as well. But also with the movies, when this was supposed to be a trilogy, and yeah, so when I talk about the writing being very poor, I'm going to do a little review of this movie now. And a lot of people like this movie, and then there's a lot of people that think it was dog shit. I'm one of the latter. So it starts off very, very good. I mean, the first 30, 40 minutes of it, it's actually well written. It's like I thought finally a movie which is going to actually be good, a modern movie which is actually going to be good, but no. So the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm going to talk about why I thought it was good. Um, Basically, the build up, it started well. It was a bit scary, a bit jumpy at the beginning. And it got to the point where it showed you the village and where they live. It's on an island and it's protected by a causeway. And this causeway is a really good defensive position, really, because every time it's high tide, it floods, and no access from the mainland can get to the island. So it pretty much means that if anybody actually does try and attack, all they would have to do is just hold them at their causeway, which is a massive gate, fire down arrows, and then if it did, after a certain amount of hours, the high tide would rise, and anybody that was trying to attack would be washed away. It was a good idea. It keeps them all safe. But obviously, they need to get their resources from the mainland. So it shows you how they live. It shows you what sort of resources they need. It gives you a build up of how they actually live in the town on the island, and then it shows that these two here. So this is the main character. The kid's the main character, and this is his father. And his father is taking his son to the mainland. Usually they don't take him until they're like quite must be like 15 or 16, but his son here is 12. So this guy, he's quite an influential member of the community. So him taking his son so young, it's not exactly a big deal. But obviously, anybody that does get lost, they never send a rescue party out after them, just because it's so dangerous. And so anyway, so they both go to the mainland, and you think taking his 12-year-old son is a bit of it's a strange decision. Yes, it's dangerous. It's a little bit stupid. You could argue, but the father, he seems very experienced. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and that kind of fills you with confidence. So even though that part of the movie is a little bit like, why would you do that sort of thing? When you actually see the father's character, you actually feel, yeah, he's safe with him anyway. Anyway, so the part of the story is his mum's ill, and he hears a rumor that there's a doctor on the mainland. So his mum, for the early part of the movie, she can't even get out of bed. She's completely delirious, and he decides, you know what? He's been to the mainland once. It almost ended with him getting killed, and that was his father was the one that saved his life. But now he decides, you know what? He's going to go to the mainland with his mum, obviously without his father knowing, he's going to sneak out with his mum to the mainland and try and get her to this doctor. So first of all, to do this, he needs to sneak out. So he distracts the people that are actually watching the causeway. He distracts the guards by lighting a fire. He sets a shed on fire. Then he says that he goes up to them and tricks them into going to put it out. And as they go and put it out, he sneaks out the gate, leaving it wide open. That means he's put all of his town at risk of being killed, potentially swarmed by zombies, which is why he can sneak out. So one, the kid is fucking stupid, we get that. And he's also taken his mum, who's obviously delirious. And so they end up making their way onto the mainland, and before you know it, they're obviously getting chased by zombies and things. And it gets to the point where they meet a soldier, and the soldier's been stranded on the island after his ship, or the boat that he was travelling on, hit something in the water, and he got stranded. Anybody that gets stranded on the island is left. They never get, nobody comes to rescue them. Anyway, so the soldier, the kid, and the lady here, they all team up together. So what they're doing is they're now trying to get to where the doctor is. And on the way, they see a train. This lady here, she gets on the train. And when she gets onto the train, she sees a zombie giving birth. And she goes up to the fucking thing, and she starts holding its hand while it gives birth. You couldn't make this crap up. I mean, when I talk about the movie being good for the first 30, 40 minutes, it then turns to shit so fast. So she starts like, I don't know, some like feminine empowerment, but the lady and the zombie lady hold hands. And anyway, so she helps this zombie give birth. Obviously, the soldier that's with them, he's furious, obviously, like anybody with a sane mind would be. But the fucking kid and the mother, they're like well into this, like saving the zombie baby. And it gets to the point where you watch. I was like, obviously, people were actually walking out of the cinema at this point, and I could understand why. I was close to go myself. It was so ridiculous. So what I was actually, so obviously while this was happening, the soldier was obviously freaking out, and eventually he gets killed. And when I say the movie it went shit, it turned to shit really quick. When the movie first turned to shit, obviously you thought he's brought his mum onto an island while she's delirious. They met this soldier, and the soldier actually brings something back to the movie. He almost revived the movie. He thought, you know, with his help, it could actually turn into something good. But then no, they killed him off really quickly. The movie turned straight back to shit. So, what happens next? Right, so they then take this zombie baby. And there's a lot of people online saying that, her saving the baby, she was delirious, she had a brain tumour. But the thing is, she got onto the train. When they were walking, she gets onto the train. When they were walking, she gets onto the train. About, obviously, long before the other two. So, the little boy and the soldier, they know that this lady's delirious. Maybe she's ill. They just let her wander ahead. She's completely unarmed as well. So they just let her wander off on her own, do they? In a place that's filled with zombies. Of course, it's just so ridiculous. Like, anyway, then so when she does get on the train, obviously they let her wander off. A sick mother let her wander off in a zombie-riddled environment. She gets on the train, helps a zombie give birth. They then take this newborn baby with them to go and meet the doctor. This guy. So what's this guy doing? He's just in the middle of nowhere. He's making bloody temples out of bones. I'm like, come on, man. He's like a Cameroonian witch doctor. Not a real doctor. He's like, at this moment, it's like the writers thought to themselves, all right, we're here now. Now what do we do? And they all just looked at each other like, I don't know, shrugging their shoulders. So they get there, and obviously, maybe a little bit of propaganda. They euthanized his mother. She's too ill, apparently. So they euthanize her, give her a bit of assisted dying propaganda in there. And then they stick her head on this temple, this massive monument that he's built. This is them before, obviously, all that crap. But anyway, so they're bringing the baby along with them. This is another thing I have to complain about, is the baby. They don't. They look at it. They don't think by visual inspection that it's infected. They look at it and they just say, "Oh, well, maybe it doesn't carry the virus. Maybe it doesn't carry the virus." Like this dopey doctor over here, he's like, "Oh, yes, maybe it's some magic of the placenta. I've always thought about that." And I'm like, "Of course you are, you fucking idiots." This baby could be carrying the virus still. Yeah, he could just be too young to bite, or too young to express any symptoms. So what does the kid do? Right. So I'm just going to talk about it later on. The kid takes the baby. He runs over to the causeway where the gate is. He then leaves the baby outside the causeway, the gate to his hometown, which is protected by the island, and then runs back onto the island. And then the people in the town obviously open up the causeway. They see the bloody baby there, and they take it in. This retarded kid, could have killed his entire town. He could have killed his hometown population. They could have all been completely wiped out because of this single act of stupidity. And it's just like when you're watching movies, like you can tolerate a certain amount of stupidity, especially in horror movies. But when it goes full retard, you just lose all your interest. You lose all immersion. Like when that woman was helping the zombie give birth, and obviously the other little kid was helping as well. I'm like, is this how a real person would act in a situation like that if that was really happening? Of course they wouldn't. And when you start to make characters do really unrealistic things, like if I was to watch a movie where a guy like threw himself off a 20-story building, bounced off the concrete, and has got up like nothing happened, would I be immersed in that film anymore? No, I definitely would not be immersed in the film. And that's the problem with a lot of movies now. It's like that single scene, obviously, it was so absolutely ridiculous. And the scene where the doctor's now just building temples out of bones. It's like, what is this? What is going on? Like, and another problem I have with this doctor guy is this is his temple that he's building. Like, what is the point in wasting all this time doing this? He said it's a tribute to the dead, is he? Oh my god! Like, he's living on his own out there. What is he eating? He's got loads of he's using opiates to stun zombies. Where's he getting all these opiates from? He's not growing any poppy seeds anywhere, is he, in England? So here's the causeway. This is like this is what protects the town on the mainland, and the island. So obviously the kid has left a baby on this, and obviously they've taken it into the town. What a load of shit that was. He's probably killed the entire population of his hometown. At the end of it, for some inexplicable reason, he just wanders off. He goes like on his own into the zombie infested environment. The kid just wanders off on his own, and then he eventually bumps into the Jimmy Savile gang. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny or what, but it wasn't funny at all. I mean, it was kind of like, could you make this movie any worse? And they did. I didn't think it was possible to make the movie any worse, and then that's what they did. And here's another thing which I could not stand about the movie, which made absolutely no sense. The character here, the Alpha, is the Alpha zombie. This zombie has literally killed about all the soldiers characters. He killed the soldier characters. He almost killed the father character and the son character. And it's a very dangerous creature. And what's the doctor been doing? Like, the doctor says he's been attacked by this guy nearly every day. So the doctor has been tranquilizing him using these opiate darts. And now after he's tranquilized him, he just lets him. The zombie is completely paralyzed. He cannot defend himself at all. So has the doctor finished him off? No, he hasn't. So for fucking years he's been tranquilizing this thing when he could have just killed it. He could have shot it in the fucking face with an arrow while it was paralyzed like this, but no. He just tranquilized it over and over again. And the result of this, so many people have been killed unnecessarily because of this big thing here, this massive alpha zombie. And this guy has just been, he's had so many opportunities to kill it, but he hasn't. It's just it's just pure retardation, this movie. I mean, it really is frustrating to watch. It was so good in the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you thought it's got so much potential, and then they'd go and do that. It's like, Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what the writers were doing, man. It's, when they ruin movies like that, it has so much potential. I mean, so many plot holes as well. And it's like, why? It's going to be a trilogy, but I don't think anyone's going to be watching the next two, are they? Especially after this dog shit, the first one. Well, there's a part where the kid goes back to his town. Obviously, all his town was saying that the doctor was insane. He leaves a note for his father, and he says, "Dad, I met Doctor Kelsey, whatever his name is, and he's not crazy. He's sane. He's sane." I was like, "What? What basis is that for sanity, man? The guy's a fucking idiot." And there's one more thing which I actually really couldn't stand about the Doctor character, and it's just like well, one, he's been absolutely no point in being there, but another thing about another thing that I could not stand was his little defensive mechanism. Like the zombies could not get to where he was apparently because there was a river, and they couldn't get across the river. He said that this little bridge he had kept them out. So what was this bridge? It was this little wooden and rope bridge, but you could see the water. It was only about a foot deep. Any zombie could have walked across that easily. And it's like, so what were they doing? That tried to make it seem like it was some sort of impenetrable fortress, some bloody moat or something going around his little section where he's building his like skeleton tower or whatever. It's just absolutely retarded. So this is probably one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. Or probably is actually definitely the worst movie. It had so much potential. The trailer looked so good. The first 30 minutes were fantastic, and then it turned to shit so fast. So sorry about this little rant, but thanks for watching. Oh, and I recommend do not watch this movie. Load of crap. 1 out of 10.